Okay, let's go straight to the point. Is it the Mavic Air 2S still relevant in 2024? Let's find out. This drone came out 3 years ago in May 2021. 3 years ago, in drone ages, that's a lot. Since then, DJI has released a lot of new models, including the Mavic Air 3. But I wanted to do this video for anyone like you that is wondering if it's still relevant in 2024. Small note, if you just want to see cinematic footage, I recommend you to go to the end of the video where I put a cinematic sequence in Indonesia that is incredible. Let's continue with the video. If you want to know if this drone is still relevant, first we need to know what it's capable of. One of the key features of this drone when it came out, and I think still now, is the 1-inch CMOS sensor. This allowed this drone to take pictures at 20 megapixels raw. This also allowed this drone to capture video up to 5.4K and up to 30 frames per second. This made this drone incredible in 2021, and I would say that it's still amazing in 2024. This drone also presenting the 4-direction obstacle sensing. Comes with sensors on the bottom, on the top, on the front and on the back. These sensors allow this drone to sense any obstacle on the flight path. But as in any other sensor avoiding system, I don't really rely that so much, and I always like to have my control on my hands, just in case. But of course, it's a nice feature to have, and these sensors have saved my life a couple of times, especially when I'm flying backwards and you cannot see what is behind. Out of the box, DJI states that this drone can do 31 minutes of airtime. In my own experience, I have never been able to achieve 31 minutes of flight, but I've been able to fly for more than 25 minutes. Let me tell you, that's more than enough to capture all the things that you need to capture. The transmission of this drone is through OcuSync 3.0, which DJI states that it gives you a 12-kilometer range. I have never tested that. Also, why would you like to fly your drone 12 kilometers out? I've been able to fly this drone up to 3 kilometers out in a straight line and maybe 100 meters up, which is still a lot of distance and quite scary if I have to tell you, because if you lose the drone, then you need to do 3 kilometers and you don't want to do that. So the next question is, how is this drone compared to newer drones, like for example the Mavic Mini 4 Pro or like the Mavic Air 3? Let's start for example with the Mavic Mini 4 Pro. This is one of the newest models of the Mini series, and it's also smaller and lighter than the Mavic Air 2S. But there is one point that the Mavic Air 2S still wins over the Mavic Mini 4 Pro. And as I mentioned before, is the sensor size. The Mavic Air 2S presents a 1-inch sensor, while the Mavic Mini 4 Pro presents a 1/1.3 CMOS sensor, which only allows this drone to do, for example, 12 megapixel pictures. Compared to the newer brother, the Mavic Air 3, we cannot leave out the price difference, that is almost 400 euros. Of course, the newer model brings new features, but it's also much more expensive. And one of the last things that is important to highlight on this drone is the new update firmware that allows this drone to be EU compliant with the new EU regulations for drones, allowing this drone to fall into the C1 category, being able to use this drone in many other scenarios that before was not able to do. And I would recommend you to read a little bit more about the EU regulations that they are on since January this year. So we started this video with one question: is this drone still relevant in 2024? I would say yes. I recently came from a trip to Indonesia where I flew this drone in several scenarios and it never disappointed me. But of course, the most important is the footage. I will leave a lot of clips that I recorded with this drone and you can judge it by yourself. But let me know in the comments, do you think this drone is still relevant in 2024? And of course, if you found this video useful, remember to subscribe and give a like, that always helps. And if you want to connect with me or see my work, I will leave my Instagram in here where you can follow me. Until next time, see you.